everybody in this room, all the students in this room, maybe a little hard to relate to it because you weren't alive for 9/11. As I mentioned to the group before, there's only so many times in your life where a period of time and an instance are imprinted in your mind, literally forever. So I remember very, distinctively, in 5th grade, I remember pretty much every single minute of that day, every single detail of things that went on, and I won't forget. It's in my brain. It was a very traumatic day, obviously as a 5th grader. Like you can imagine, like not really knowing, seeing everybody in a complete panic. But as you get older, you get to realize it was a real turning point in all of Jewish history, American history, world history. And very frequently, we've had a lot of assemblies. We've been to a lot of 9/11 assemblies that talk about the horrors that went on, the incredible bravery and sacrifice that the first responders, your average people, did to not just save their lives, but on a lot of occasions, knowing that their lives won't be saved and going out and helping other people. But we have a unique opportunity today to take a little bit of a different approach to the day. We have Rav Moshe Taragin here from Gush, Yeshiva Har Etzion, who's going to put this day through the lens of Jewish history, Torah, which is really the framework that us as Jews always have to look through. It's a little different than I think what you're used to in a normal 9/11 assembly, but I think there's a lot that we really could gain from this, and there's a lot we could discuss. I'll introduce Rabbi Taragin. If people are interested in speaking with him afterward as well, you're more than welcome to send a schmooze with him, and he'll talk about the day today and some other things going on as well.
Thank you, Rabbi Rishus Rabbanim. Let's start with the story, and then we'll try to set the tone. Now, 35 years ago, I'm interviewing a kid, and he asked me, Rebbe, where are the best boys going next year? He wants to go where the best boys are going. Guys, if you're applying to Yeshiva, don't ask that question. Yeshiva is not for the best boys. Yeshiva is for boys. No good, bad, stop ranking people. Be your best self. Everyone's the best boy in them, sometimes you have a worse boy in you. Those that fall into that trap, we're the best boys. Everyone's good. He asked me where the best boys are going. I said, I don't know. If I did, I wouldn't tell you because it's confidential information. But I turned the question on him. And I said, tell me, what does it mean to be the best boy? Define the best boy. Where the best boys are going? Let's set our terms. Who's the best boy? So he said, Rebbe, the best boy is the boy that learns the most Gemara and the davens with the most Kavanah. That's the best boy. Where those boys are going, I want to go. So I asked him a couple of questions. It was Friday. They were going to sing L'chadodi that night. So I said, where did the psukim from L'chadodi come from? Wake up, because your light is coming. My people, stop crying in the valley of tears. Where do they come from? Which parts of Tanakh? He couldn't tell me. I said, you know what? Here's the Tanakh. This isn't part of your test. Open to Yeshaya, and I'll show you where they come from, so you can dive into there with more Kavanah. He didn't open the Tanakh. He said, Rebbe, I don't know where Sefer Yeshaya is. That's what tell me. Is at least knowing where Sefer Yeshaya is, and knowing the difference between Yeshaya and Yirmiyah and Treyasar, or the first 40 parakim of Yeshaya and the last 40, is that part of being a good boy? I said, yeah, it is. I asked him a few other questions about being a good boy. And the last question I asked him was, this is 1995. 2 helicopters took off in northern Israel full of soldiers. Never forget it. Middle of the night, collided in midair. 72 soldiers were killed. 2 days ago, 4 soldiers were killed. Over the last 2 years, close to 900 soldiers were killed. I asked this boy, what did you do Not like doing that, guys. I know it's hard not to laugh, but people suffer. I asked him, what did you do when you heard the story about the soldiers? Kid said, Rabbi, I said to him. Pretty good answer. I looked at this boy and I said, you know what we did in Israel? I remember like it was yesterday. I sat with my wife, looking at the TV, no internet, and we just cried. Cried our eyes out. 72 funerals in 48 hours. It was Armageddon. Not those, us, people, our mothers, like your mothers, throwing themselves in graves and shrieking to the high heavens. And I remember at a certain point I looked at my wife and said, I'm dry, I'm out, I can't do this anymore. I don't have the mental or emotional stuff. We shut the TV and I said, I can't do it anymore. I can't cry anymore. If you ever reach a point, hopefully not. Hopefully you'll never, but there is a point in which you simply can't cry anymore. You just have to stop. And I asked this boy, tell me, is the ability to cry and shed a tear when another Jew is suffering thousands of miles away? But they're your people, they're your brother, they're your sister, they're building your future. We're protecting the land that one day you'll be in. Is that also part of firm kind? Is that also part of being a good boy? Is it just Gemara learning and davening? Is it also crying when people suffer? They said come to Israel and don't just double down on the parts of religion you get in Rambam, whatever the high school was, but stretch your mind and stretch your religion into parts you don't get here. What I just described to you is the ability to sympathize. And obviously when it's Jewish people, it's deeper. But we also share this planet with other human beings. We're all built by God and fashioned as good people. Don't fall into the common modern narrative that people are horrible and people are terrible. Everyone out there was given Hashem's grace. Everyone out there was given Salakim. They were also given free will. And many of them took that free will and corrupted what Hashem gave them. But don't lose faith in humanity. Dostoevsky wasn't right. People aren't evil. Orwell wasn't right. People aren't evil. Sartre wasn't right. People aren't evil. Vayar Elokim Kitov. Vayar Elokim Kitov. Hashem created man, and when human beings suffer, even if you can't cry, at least nod your head in deference. Rabbi Hirschman was telling you his September 11th story, and of course I remember minute by minute. Let me tell you what happened 3 hours after September 11th. And I was running around, this is before people had cell phones, trying to help the kids contact their parents, trying to see. A friend of mine had a son in the yeshiva, not in Gush. And I don't mean Shalom. It's very different yeshiva. And 2 hours after September 11th, the rabbi got up and gave a scathing speech about capitalism and Western civilization, and the Twin Towers are a symbol of American hedonism and American materialism and indulgence. I told my friend, call your son and get him out of that yeshiva as fast as he can, because that rabbi should be in a cage. Because when people are dying, lying under tons of concrete, having their souls snuffed out as their batteries die and they're saying their last goodbyes to their loved ones, that is not the time for you to play God and tell people about how wrong they are or aren't, even if you're right. You shut your mouth and you just sit there and quiet in silence. For 2 days I couldn't budge. For 2 days I couldn't move. Knowing that as I lived my life, people were dying slowly under rubble, throwing themselves off of high towers because it was too hot. So the first thing you do in life, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care about your ideas, remember this. Remember this for the rest of your life. Sympathy always comes before ideology. We're going to talk about ideology. We're going to talk about it. But the first thing you do in life is you connect with people who are suffering where they are. And you step into their shoes as best you can. 3 boys in 2015 were kidnapped in English. You know those stories. My Rebbe, one of the great tzaddikim of his generation of our witness, went to visit the father of one of those boys, Gilad Shire. I know those 3 boys. 2 of them lived in high school with my son, who's now married with 2 children, Baruch Hashem, who's best friends with Naftali Frankel. Naftali Frankel's parents were at the wedding and at the bris. They've kept in touch with all their murdered sons' friends. They're heroes. A lot of heroes in this room. A lot of heroes. A lot of heroes in this room. I'm sure. I'm looking at you guys. I'm sure there are people who are going to be heroes of Jewish history. I'm sure you guys can stand up, take a big swing, and change the chapters of Jewish history. You'll find your way. I know you'll find your way. So his father is sitting there crying over his murdered son. And a great rabbi walked in and said, "Oh, your son, he's with Rabbi Akiva now. He's a martyr. He's in Shamayim. He died on Kiddush Hashem." And I saw Rav Moshe walk in and just sit next to the father and cry. Because the father didn't want big stories about his kid. He just wanted someone to know what he's going to the nightmare he's going to. So today, no one in this room, I'm sure none of you in this room know people who suffer September 11th. But I'm sure if we took a walk down the street, 20-minute walk, we'd meet 3 or 4 people who lost a father, brother, sister, on September 11th. Or you meet someone who's still suffering and can't breathe because of the asthma, inhaling all this asbestos and the cinder blocks and fire. It's right around you. It's right around you. Noah, for the entire year, wasn't allowed to be with his wife. Why? Because all around people were dying. And they were sinners. They were horrible people. They deserved to die. God rebooted the world. But you behave in a certain way when people around you are suffering, whether sinners or saints. You don't just go off on your way. So now, take 1 second, right now, 1 minute. And just know that in a half-a-mile radius from here, people are still having a hard time. You know who I called right before today? Right on my way to Rambam. I called my girlfriend. Don't tell my wife I'm a girlfriend. Tell anyone who gets sick. Her name is Lisa. She's probably not listening to this recording, so not a big problem. She's Christian. She's been my banker for 30 years. She works at a banking house that was affected by September 11th in the World Trade Center. And every year September 11th, I just call and say, "I'm thinking of you." Because I know she's thinking about colleagues that she's lost. And maybe if she's not thinking, other people. When people suffer, don't just go off on your merry way. Ideology can wait. We'll talk about big ideas. Don't be confident with big ideas. Maybe. Who's watching the football game today? Anyone? Maybe. You want something great to do? Here's a great idea. Seriously, try it. I promise you, you'll feel like $1 million. Miss the first 2 minutes. For the first 2 minutes of the game, say right now, there are people who aren't happy to watch the game. We're looking at pictures, crying, lighting candles, suffering. The least I can do is take 2 minutes off of the game. I promise you'll feel like $1 million tomorrow. Because games come and go. But to be strong-willed and do the right thing, it's priceless. That takes guts. That takes courage. When's the last time? Ask yourself the following question. When's the last time you did the right thing? And it took guts, and no one was watching. It's easy to do the right thing when people are watching, right? Because when people don't get to you. When's the last time no one was watching, and you did the right thing? That's glory. That's a moment of greatness. That's called you, God, and conscience. Know what I said? You, God, and conscience. You do the right thing. So watching the game tonight, take 2 minutes. Here's my next challenge before we get to the big ideas that Hirschman spoke about. Remember, this is a shir about ideas, and Hirschman introduced it. I haven't spoken about ideas, because I want to teach you a bigger idea that sympathizing with human beings comes first. Another 10 days. You're in shul. You hear shofar. Group kick, at first blast. So exciting. You're waiting for it. You practice at home. You hear Kia, Shvarim, do, 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 do. Sounds like the crying animal because we're crying out to God for help. See, if the first time you hear the shofar, close your eyes, hold it tight, and think about the thousands of people in Israel who hear that every single night when they go to sleep because they're in an empty bed, or because there's an empty chair in their house, or because they've been in hospitals for 2 years, or because they haven't seen their father in 2 years because he's been at war. The least you owe them is when that shofar blows. Listen to me, and I'm being thrown out of Rambam for this. This is being recorded. Don't think about Akedas Yitzchak. Don't think about it. First think about, we don't need Akedas Yitzchak. Just think about There are keynotes that are taking place today in 2025. And the people who are giving their hearts, their lives, their time for you. Maybe one day you'll join them. And you'll join us. But for now, that's not where you want. You're right here. So that's my second challenge to you. Okay, guys? First challenge, tonight take 2 minutes for whatever you're doing and just set them aside, close your eyes, and think about what world you'd like to live in without death and terror and people suffering needlessly. Second challenge, 10 days from now. You'll hear it. You'll hear those sounds. Put it in your head. Lock it into your heart. There are people that go to sleep every night like that. People whose kids are in Gaza, in cages, withering away. Kids your age, who you know, I don't have to finish the sentence. You've seen the pictures. You've seen the cemeteries. You've seen the tears. And what just happened 2 days ago. So it's hard to cry when these are names you don't really know. You want to cry? Walk down my street. I'll point out this house. I'll point out that house. And I'll point at that person in shul. And I'll point out this person who's walking on a crutch. This person who's walking without a limb or leg. That's not where you are. You'll be in shul. You are where you should be. You can't cry. At least think and nod your head and connect when that shofar sounds. Here's the third part of today's conversation. Now the ideas. Get it? First the heart, then the mind. First the sympathy, then the ideology. Always. Don't lose sight of that. Connect to people, not to ideas. People, not ideas. Here's the idea. What does September 7th, September 11th have to do with October 7th? What does all this have to do with Tisha B'Av? Says Rosh Hashanah. I'm still confused. Okay. Let's start from here. For 2,000 years, you know people lived for 2,000 years, which, by the way, happens during Gracious and Up. It takes us 2 weeks to read for the 2,000 years of human history. A third of history unfolds in Gracious and Up. You know people thought God was? People imagined that gods were angry. People imagined that gods were grotesque animals in heaven, grotesque figures with fangs and horns who toyed with human beings as their playthings. Because that's all they saw. They saw death, they saw expulsion, they saw floods, they saw suffering, they saw stone. They just assumed gods are angry, gods are arbitrary, gods are lustful, full of bloodlust. How many virgins can we throw in the sacrifice to appease the gods? How many gold coins can we give to bribe the gods? These are the gods, they're all angry, they're hateful. They want your beings to suffer, they're arbitrary, they're random, they're... One person discovered Hashem. Who is his name? And whose grandfather is he?
Noah.
Everyone, hands up. We all have that gene. We all got the same gene. Avram's our grandfather. You're my cousin. What's your name? Mark, my Sephardi cousin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. You got Sephardi cousins. Come to Thanksgiving dinner with the Taragins. Okay, you're invited. You're all invited. We're all cousins. Look outside. Here we'll make the mistake. People think that Avram looked at the world and he saw science and physics and chemistry, and biology and astronomy and planets. No. Avram looked outside. He saw life. He saw a world that's so delicately calibrated to support life. Guys, if our world, look at my hands, 20 kilometers closer to the sun, too hot, will become incinerated. 20 kilometers further from the sun, we freeze to death. Right in the middle. Who put the earth right in the middle to support life? Hashem. Stand up, my Sephardi cousin, my big Sephardi cousin. Do you know how many enzymes and hormones and chemicals are flowing through this body and this body right now? And, seriously guys, chemistry. Yeah. You change it a little? Slightly change the enzymes? Guys, it's not a joking matter. There are people right now that aren't in this room, maybe in this room, who are suffering sadness, despair, lack of work ethic, because the chemicals are a little bit off. In ways that hopefully yours aren't. And if they are, thank you for it. You need to get up. Nothing wrong with getting up. Who created this balanced world Who created a world of life and a world of prosperity? Who is? Avram found Hashem not through science, but through moral spirit. He found there must be a being and a creator that want human beings to prosper, not suffer, to have welfare, not death, to have a good life, not a horrible life. Avram sensed a moral spirit, which is why he was such a Baal Chesed, because he couldn't just walk the walk, he couldn't talk the dog, he had to actually be an agent of Chesed. Avram announced to the world, Hashem isn't angry. Avram announced to the world, Hashem isn't lustful for blood. Hashem doesn't want innocent people to suffer. He wants doctors. He wants psychologists. He wants railroad tracks. He wants indoor plumbing. He wants science and ration. He wants democracy and capitalism. He wants medical care and education. He wants human beings to improve their world so that their plight improves. And that was the message from him. And that's why Abraham is the only person in Tanakh. Trick question, you can trick your Tanakh records. The only person in Tanakh to be called an Ohev Hashem. Zerah, Avraham, Ohev. Why? How do you love Hashem? Who loves ice cream? Tastes great. Who loves shoot 'em up movies? Makes your heart beat fast. Who loves nature? Makes your imagination run wild. How do you love Hashem? You can't taste it. Does it make your heart beat faster? How do you love Hashem? What does that mean? How does Hashem look out? What does that even mean? The answer is, look at my hands. When you realize that His will and your will are in sync, and that His mitzvahs are not meant to suppress you or suffocate or stifle you, but to enhance you and upgrade you and ennoble you, boy, you love. You know who I love the most in this world, aside from Hashem? My wife. You know why I love her? Because she's maybe 20 times the person that I was when I married her. And I love, and we built a family together. And I love her because she's made my life better. That's why I love her. You know the non-wife who I love the most? My Rebbe, Rav Moshe. Did he taste good? I never tried to buy him. No, thank God. Did he make my heart race like a car chase scene in a movie? No. But why did he change my life? What would I be like if not for having met that person? And I loved him because I realized that everything he gave me made me better. As you grow older in life, you start to love not physical things that taste good or that make your heart pay. You love things that make you better. You love people that make you better. You love ideas that make you better. You want to be an Ohev Hashem if you can realize that religion isn't meant to stifle and suppress and suffocate, but it's meant to make you a better person. Every single mitzvah. Some of you understand? Some of you don't. I hope to live to 120. I promise you, I will never understand Paradu. Never. Because better people than me try. But boy, do I know that mitzvah is in my best interest. I can't tell you why. I will never understand Basar B'chala. I don't know why meat and milk shouldn't be mixed. No. Why can this animal not that animal? Some things I understand. I was your age. I was at a co-ed event on a Friday night. Girl comes over to me, pulls me aside, sits me down, right next to me, starts crying her eyes out. Crying her eyes out. This is happening to her, that's happening to her, this issue, that issue. Listen. And I remember like it was yesterday. I mean, I'm right there, closing my eyes, right there. All I wanted to do was put my arms out and give this girl a hug just to help her. She's crying, like I can't do anything. It didn't make sense. Hashem's telling me not to do something so natural. Like this is Hashem's will, and this is what I'm thinking. I'm like the gap, it's like the Grand Canyon. This is right, and this is Hashem. And then I grew up. We got married. We had a beautiful marriage. You know what? You know how many languages I speak? I speak English, I speak Hebrew, I speak Yiddish, I speak a little Spanish, I speak Pig Latin. I like that one, right? My sixth language is a language that I share, not with Spanish people, not with English people, not with, just with my wife. It's the language we use when we want to talk to each other in a very specific way. She said, we want to communicate physically, not just through our mouths. And we all want to hold hands. When she's having a hard day, I want to give her a little comfort. When she's afraid of something, I want to give her strength, and vice versa. That language, just me and my wife. And I wasted 20 years ago on that girl, wonderful girl, I know her today, she's a grandmother, we're close. At the age of 15, I just couldn't make sense of it. Then I grew up to be 20, and it all seemed to make sense. And as you go through life, you realize every single thing Hashem tells you is not angry. He wants you to be a better person. And when you realize that, you're knowing Hashem, I love Hashem, I can't taste him, I can't see him, I can't describe him, but boy, do I know what my life would have been like without him. And boy, am I happy. Some things you guys are already starting to put together, right? You guys know what Shabbos is, right? Train wreck without Shabbos, train wreck. Another phone, another YouTube, another endless Netflix, another night of ice cream. Come on, at some point you just burn out. At some point you just incinerate. You gotta stop, you gotta climb off, you gotta read, you gotta think, you gotta sleep, you gotta talk, you gotta walk, and at some point you gotta get off the rat race. My goodness, you blow yourself to death. Some things don't make sense to you yet. That's the legacy of Abraham. That's who we are. We are the people of Abraham, and our message to humanity is, you follow the will of this God, you will have a better life. Because he wants human beings to have a better life. And he cares for human beings. And he's compassionate. Guys, Saturday night, you're all going to go to sleep. That's the first night. You're going to say it. Kel, Melech, Yoshev, Akise, Rachamim. Hashem, Hashem, Kel, Rachum, Bechanam, Erech HaPayim. Say it loud and say it proud. Hashem is compassionate. He's merciful. He's kind. He takes care of his children, whether they are non-Jews or Jews. And you're going to say that maybe 100 times over the next couple of weeks. And you know what, guys? Any culture that's born into Abraham's legacy, look outside. It's called Western civilization. It's called Jews. It's called Christians. That's the word of Russian and science and medicine and technology and education and capitalism and wealth. And you guys in this room, most of you, will probably live well past 85. Meretz Hashem. Because that's where we're heading to life expectancy. Because of the world of medical coverage and health that we're creating. And if you go back 200 years, you know the life expectancy of 400 years ago. And that's a change. And that's Hashem's will. What? Don't answer my question, but ask it to yourself. What do you want to do in life? When I was your age and I came to yeshiva, I thought the only job I want to take is a job that will make the most money and give me the most time for learning Torah. And then my Rebbe of our Lichtenstein said there's a third factor in that triangle. Money, important. Time for learning, important. Third part, we're dead now, Embarrassment? No? Third part, am I contributing to public welfare? What are the jobs, guys, that most contribute to the world? What would you say? Don't say what you're going to become. Give me the top 5 jobs that contribute to human welfare and the improvement of human condition. What would you say? Firefighter. Doctor. What? Teacher. Lawyer. How a lawyer?
Because they help save innocent people and
Excellent.
prosecute criminals.
Excellent. It's a little hard for what I asked you. Doctor is easier, psychologist easier. What did you say? Soldier, protect people. Rabbi, teach people. What? Garbage man, make sure sanitation, clean world. Seriously, clean world, clean mind. What else? What happens when people have a hard time in their hearts? Who do you go see? I hope a lot of people in this room become psychologists. Because we're living in a hard world. Seriously. And I'm sure you've heard this from your teachers. If you're having a hard time, there's nothing wrong with going to see a psychologist. I had a hard time this year. My son was wounded in Lebanon. And I went to see a psychologist. I went to make sure I was right inside. And I couldn't trust myself to be right inside. And if I wasn't right inside, boy, I'd take it out on all the wrong people. And I didn't want to be guilty of that. So I went for an emotional checkup. He said, I'm all right, so. Wonderful checkups. Doctors, psychologists. lawyer, teacher, firefighter, soldier. That's the world we live in. You want to know about a world without Avram Avinu? Get on a plane and land in India. They're still worshiping beetles. They're still worshiping idols. They're still worshiping animals. They didn't discover. They're still back in the first 2,000 years of history. And you know what you're going to find? People living in degraded conditions, without sanitation, without health, without food, without equitable forms of government. Because our message to the world, Aaron's message to the world is, serving Hashem is in sync with human welfare. They're not two things. They're in sync with human welfare. That's called Avos Hashem. What if Hashem came to you in a dream tonight and told you, what's your name? Alicia. Hashem comes to Alicia in a dream tonight and says, Alicia, you got 24 hours off from religion. 24 hours, Alicia. Eat, let her rip, whatever you want. 24 hours, talk to whatever you want. Do whatever you want, touch with it. You're off 24 hours, go do it. I'll see you in 24 hours. What would you say? Don't answer the question, sorry. I can see what you'd say, and be honest, because you know what, guys? More important than any value in the world. This is one of the most important values in the world. You can't get started on change unless you're honest. If you fake yourself out, you find a narrative that isn't true. First, know where you are, accept that, and say, how can you change? They gotta be honest. But if I'm asking the rabbis and the wonderful women in this room what their answer would be, our answer would be Hashem. I'm not changing a thing. You think I'm in this for you? I'm not in this for you. I am, but I'm in this for me. Because your lifestyle makes me 20 times better than I could be without following your will and knowing how to navigate this crazy world with your will. I know what it is to live a life of dignity and respect and vision and honor and courage and value and community and family and selflessness and charity. And I don't always live it, but that's my fault. But I know what it's like. I've seen it live the right way. When I came to the yeshiva, I was your age, 12th graders. I came to yeshiva in 1983. I was such a big rabbi. I wasn't planning on being a rabbi. Regular guy, one and done. Get my year done, come back to Brooklyn, New York. Where else would I want to live? Okay, I'll take that. I said that's right. Brooklyn's a good place in the 70s, not so much today. And all of a sudden, I saw these incredible people. I'd never met them before. Like, where do these people come from? They're smart. They're kind. They're good parents. They're great husbands. They're supporting the state of Israel. They're battling the war. They're such great people, right? Where do they come from? I want to be like them. And I started thinking a little, how do I become like them? I guess it's the Torah thing. So it wasn't because I believed in Torah, because I believed I wanted to be a better me. And I saw great people, I said, that's how I become a better me. That's why the Torah doesn't speak about Olam Haba. Hashem comes to me in a dream and saying, I'm not changing anything. Because I don't serve Hashem for reward, I serve Hashem because the biggest reward is the life that I build by serving Hashem. And that's why there is no mention. Guys, not one. I don't mean a lot, I mean zero. Nunca. No. Yeah, zero mention Olam Haba in the Torah. Torah sets you up. What do you think the answer is? We're going to Olam Haba. Nope. Torah doesn't want to present religion as a sellout of this world just to get to the next world. It's just you're selling out, you're holding up, you're suffocating, you're stifling, you're abstaining just to get to your thing. Okay, guys? Let's make believe we believe in the other religion. Count of 3. Everyone hold your breath. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, only 80 years left to hold our breath, but we'll get to Olam Haba. Okay, keep holding it for 80 years. No. That's not where religion is. Hold your breath for 80 years just to get to Olam Haba. Anyone like reading literature? Good literature? Who's the good literary people? There was a English poet, 1950s, Henry Drummond. Remember this? What's your name? Moshe. To get to heaven, we got to take it there with us. To get to heaven, We have to take it there with us. Where's heaven? Right here. We take it with us. We build it here. So Rabbi Taragin, what does all this have to do with September 11th and October 7th and Rosh Hashanah? Because there are people today that are trying to convince the world that God is not kind but angry, that God is not compassionate but horrible, and he celebrates when people die, and he likes blood, and he likes people suffering, and those are the people that flew planes on September 11th, and those are the people that attacked our land on October 7th. And you know what? You're not in tanks, you're not carrying guns, you're not in army units, but this is your battle, just like it's my battle. To preserve the proper image of Hashem in this world that Avram introduced and that Jews have represented for thousands of years. They have died for it. Hashem is kind, not angry. Hashem wants welfare, not suffering. When innocent people die, and there are innocent people dying in Gaza, I don't know if we have a choice. And I don't know who the innocent people are. And I don't know what we can do, because we have to protect our land and our people. But we're not happy about it. It's like, oh, we killed another 100 people. We're not happy. We have to do it. And in a broken world, you can't have everything. We have to do it. But we're not happy when people who are not actively involved in violent activities against us die. Even if they hate our guys. Because Hashem isn't happy. When people lose their lives. Hashem is not happy. And that's what's happening in 12 days. 12 days, or more, closer to 13 days. You're going to sit in shul and say, Hashem, come to this world. Come to this world. Come to this world of darkness. Come to this world of false mirrors. Come to this world of shadowy truth. Come to this world of hate. And come to this world of people who attack innocent and kill people because they dare to speak the truth. Come to this world. Come to this world. Show yourself. Why do you keep saying that? Add the following sentence. Come to my world. I can't change the world around me. I can only build the universe within me. And I know who you are. And I found you. And I know that you're kind. And I know. Don't answer this question. Who has hardship in their lives? Who knows people with hardship? Don't answer this question. I don't want this private question. But Hashem is also kind man. Even though we'll never know one. Hashem isn't angry. Hashem isn't vengeful. Hashem doesn't take revenge, doesn't celebrate people suffer. And those terrorists of September 11th and those terrorists of October 7th are defacing the presence of Hashem in this world. If you line up 10 people, take a walk with me on Mount Avenue. We need 10 people, not Jews, Christians, or Muslims, 10 regular average people. And we say, what is religion? They'll say death, murder, and bloodshed. And Islamic fundamentalists have convinced them. And that is untrue. And don't be fooled. Those Islamic fundamentalists, who most of them are now in hell, they dress like religious people, they're shams. They're atheists. Because they speak of a God who doesn't exist. And denying the ways of God is tantamount to denying God. There is no angry God. There is no bloodthirsty God. There's no vengeful God. They look religious, they talk religious, they're fakes, they're charlatans, they're imposters. This is real. That's fake. Don't be intimidated by it. Okay? So 3 challenges. Challenge number 1, tonight at 8 o'clock. 2 minutes, stop what you're doing. Even if you don't think about people who are suffering losses today. Just stop. Don't watch the game. Stop eating. You'll feel better about yourself. That you're running the show isn't running you. Trust me, that's a great feeling. 12 days from now, you hear the sound of shvar. Think about the people in Israel that don't need a shofar because they hear that sound in their heart every minute, every day because of their kids who aren't with them, or their kids who are in Asa, or their fathers who are in the army. I promise you, that thought will get your tefillos like the Shema. I guarantee that to you. You don't have to think about a kid at Yitzchak. You don't have to think about Har Sinai. Think about them also. I give you a guarantee, guys. You want Hashem to listen to your tefillos? Think about broken-hearted people in Israel who live with that broken sound of crying and tears every single minute, and you can't breathe. And you're walking along here, enjoying as you should, because you're here, and that's not your being right now. That's not your. But for 1 minute, take that sound and think about people We'll hear that sound, always. Third of all, Rosh Hashanah. As you think about Hashem in this world, this is a moment of history. Anyone here have a grandmother, or grandfather, or great-grandmother, or great-grandfather who lived through the Holocaust? Have you spoken to them? Yeah. Why? Because they went through history. That was a change in history, and we want to know what they went through.
Yeah.
You know what? What's your name?
Aaron.
You're also living through history. It's 80 years later, but we're living through history. And sometimes you don't know it until it passes you. And I want you guys to know it before it passes. Because sometimes you don't appreciate what you're living through. We are a chosen generation. We are writing the final chapters of Jewish history. I promise you, Aaron,
Yeah.
I hope you live a long life, but one day you'll be a grandfather. I probably won't be here walking with it anymore. Your grandkids will ask you the same questions. You ask me, what was it like living through this experience? That's an answer to me. That's an answer. Guys, that's why we're trying to start this whole Zionism Fellowship program. Facts, figures, 48, 67, 1820. I can get on the internet. We want you to get them because it's not just feelings, it's not just kimbaya, it's also knowing what happened, where, and those who are joining this fellowship program. But what are the ideas behind it? What's happening to our people? What does it mean to go from exile to live in our land? What does it mean to have a government that's our government, but it's not religious, and they don't keep mitzvahs, and some of you aren't able to put that together? What happened in 48? I don't mean what happened in 48. What happened? What was Hashem telling us? How to shift history. How did 67 move history? How did Islam move history? Learn to see, as Rabbi Hirschman said before, beneath the shell of history. There's the shell of history, and that you can get on CNN. And then there's the ideas of history, and that's yours. Don't get lost in headlines. Headlines come and go. Let me tell you a story, then I'll end. I was telling Naomi before. Shout out to Naomi. I was telling Naomi that my grandfather, everyone whose name is Taragin in this world is related. Why? Because my grandfather, why him? My son is named after him. In 1921, decided he had enough. Enough of pogroms, enough of Russian, Bolshevik, communist, czarist Russia. You know who did Russia the biggest favor in the world? Hitler. Because if Hitler wouldn't have been such a satanic, horrific monster, Russia would have been in the Hall of Shame as being the biggest anti-Semite in the modern era. Because life in Russia in the 19th century and 20th century was horrible for Jews. Horrible for your grandparents. Coming from White Russia, that whole area. Hitler took the gold medal of anti-Semitism. So put Russia into the silver medal category. So my grandfather, 21, says, I've got enough. I'm picking myself up, moving to America, I have little pennies, and I'll bring my 6 brothers over one by one, and all of a sudden we have a family today, over 1,000 people. He changed history. Go on the internet today and look up the headlines of the Vienna Gazette of that day of 1921. Someone did something to so-and-so, some prime minister and diplomat said something to so-and-so about it. Headlines come and go. They don't change history. Minor acts of human courage change history. They're not headlines, but that's what changes. Forget the headlines. Who said what to whom? Which diplomats say what to whom? They grab you, they're fun to talk about. Good Shabbos after you're in conversation. Dig deeper. Where are we? Why did Hashem choose us? How can you build a life that recognizes that you're in history, not watching it from now on? Okay, guys? Have a great, great Rosh Hashanah. Meaningful day. Step up, be strong, do the right thing. You'll thank me for it, guys. Okay?
Thank you, Rav Taragin. If anybody wants to speak with Rav Taragin afterwards for a few minutes, you're more than welcome to spend some time with him. Otherwise, please make your way back to class.